Greetings! It is I, Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue our discussion on D20 Modern, the modern take on the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Where we last left off, we've been talking about building your adventure. Let's dive into the steps of your true adventure. These are important steps that just are going to generally help you along. First off, you're gonna want to hook your characters. You're going to want something to start off your adventure that's going to draw them in. It should be exciting, filled with flair, drama, something that's going to get them a taste of what's to come and get them feeling, get the blood boiling, some kind of hit. Now, once that's complete, though, you're going to want to maintain that motivation, which can be difficult to do. You're going to want them to be motivated to continue their heroics because you've already hit them with something that's made them feel like heroes and they're ready for action. Of course, the easiest way of doing this is to have some kind of character ask them for help. So you've already hit them with something that's establishing why they're here, and then someone related to what was going on with that big hit asks them for help. This can get cliche if you keep using it again and again in adventures, and it kind of can get boring. The point is, you might use it early on for those first couple of adventures that you're going on. You're going to want to get a hold of not only your players, but their characters, and get a feeling for the combination of the two of them. You're going to want to, of course, know how your players generally think and act when they do most of their games. You're also going to want to know how their characters are going to react in many situations. And using that, you can customize this portion and figure out something that's going to hook them in and motivate them to continue the heroics. If you know them enough, you don't have to do the age-old ask for help. This even works in pre-made adventures, because you can alter and change a pre-made adventure as necessary to feel like your characters would hook into it, would go for that motivation and dive deeper into the pre-made adventure. You're using this technique. You're basically using the simpler technique to develop the more difficult one. So once your characters, you have them on that initial hook, and you have them motivated, it's time for them to boil down to what's going on. They're going to get to the scene of the core of whatever adventure it is, whether it's a scene of a crime or the scene of something else. And they're going to ask the 6 key questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. And it's going to be up to you to answer them to the best of your degree. You're going to come up with information at the physical location or socially with the people you're talking about. Information that your characters can easily learn to answer these questions. For them to sort of push forward, you're going to have them effectively looking to these questions and finding out information related to them. This is going to lead them down the path towards the conclusion of this adventure, towards the next part of it. They're going to have hints about what's to come. And the thing about it is, of the information you're providing them, provide them with a lot of it, because they might have stuff that's irrelevant, that you know is relevant. But provide them with some irrelevant things too. It's going to be up to your characters to sort them out, but it should exist there. If they're only finding relevant data, you're handing it to them. You want them to have a little bit of everything, so it all makes sense and feels natural, the amount of information you're providing. Then they'll sort it out and figure out the differences. Now, once this is done, you're going to face 2 difficult elements as you head deeper into this. As they basically follow whatever mystery is behind all this, whatever questions they're trying to answer in order to resolve this, you're going to face 2 things. First off, the mystery itself. If they don't feel like they're accomplishing something in the mystery and learning more information as they travel down the path, they're going to become frustrated. Also, it shouldn't feel too easy to hit these points. It should feel like they're overcoming a challenge as they go things. So it should be a challenge still, but it should be a challenge they can overcome and figure out more on the mystery. So we're feeling successful that we're learning more, but we're also feeling like we're overcoming something. To balance these 2 feelings out is what you're going to need to move forward from this initial point. Now, along the way, you should also have them face some sort of danger. Whether this is some kind of combat or something else, they should face some kind of danger that makes it feel like whatever adventure they're on has life-threatening connotations to them. That they face this danger, and when they overcome it, they are filled with more confidence. It's more than just success. It's overcoming deadly danger or dangerous to their health that might be difficult to overcome also. So it's an extension of that victory we were talking about before, but that's more than that. Victory before was victory on finding out information. This is victory over an obstacle, which may or may not be related technically to my overall mission at hand, but it feels good because it's in process of heading that. Now the reward, though, should be something that's going to lead them to the climax. Once they've overcome all the dangers they've had to face on the course of your adventure, it should give them a reward which is going to help / lead them to the climax of the encounter, that they're going to be hinted at that's where they have to go. So after the last enemy they fight, or after the last trap they overcome, or after the last hazard they overcome, it's going to give them something that they can follow that trail to that final climax that they've been working towards this entire arc of the adventure. That final location you want them to go to. You have to make it easy enough for them to go there. The climax is where you're going to finally answer all those questions that they asked at the beginning of the game. When they asked those questions at the start of the mystery, the question part of the adventure, this is where all the answers come together. Now the thing about this is, these questions, these answers to these questions might lead to more questions. Of course, that's always happen. And there might be parts of this resolution which are surprising. A great twist, that something they did not expect, will always be memorable. Make the answer not something that they truly looking for. Maybe you gave hints of something earlier. Maybe you made hints of this surprise ending. It's up to you how much you want to add that in. But a big twist at the end that's unexpected, that leads to other questions in and of itself, is always something great, that fills a lot of excitement into your players. Once you've resolved that, go to your aftermath. These are the big rewards your players are going to go. This is also maybe giving reports to any organization they work for. Or if something bad happened, maybe giving solemn information to someone that happened, or returning a person that was kidnapped. You can also tell them about someone that died tragically. These are the parts of it that resolve the current story you're doing. But the thing is, this is the point where they might consider those answers they had and the new questions. And those new questions could, of course, lead to your next adventure, because you've already hooked them in. It's almost as if this first adventure was that big opening act for the next one. So you see how we're using these adventures to lead to more ones. Granted, you don't need to do this. We could just call it cut and dry at the end of this adventure and move on to the next characters or the next story and start from scratch. But you could easily then link them together using this point in time. Very good. Very fun thing to do, just to weave them together like that. So that's it for today. I went over a number of steps of the elements of your adventure that if you sort of build in these very basic open-ended steps to your adventure, you're going to make it good. The thing is, these are just concepts we're talking about now. This is building an exciting beginning, hooking your characters, making them motivated to go on it, finding out information, following that information, being successful, making it facing some dangers along the way, getting a reward for completing all of their tasks, which leads them to a climax, after which they've answered all their questions. You can see the process. It's the process of a story, which is what you're telling. You're telling a story. Next time, we're going to talk about adding excitement to your adventures. More excitement than just what they're already establishing. Extra little things you can do, and some tips and tricks that you can use to build your adventure more. So we're going to dive deeper into the aspects of this. We've gone over this basic concept now. We're diving into those details a little bit more now, until we can build it with exact precision. But regardless, if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, especially for the channel, the empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you could always check out my Patreon. Link description below. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.